Hey everybody, welcome back. I am excited to introduce to you a returning guest, a returning guest, Robyn White. We just figured out that the last time she was on the podcast was episode 44. Y'all, so we have got an oldie but goodie, right? That was from 1922. It was from 2022. We're not that old. Some days I feel like it. But let me introduce
Me
to
too.
you Robyn White. Robyn combines brand strategy, website design, and SEO expertise to help interior designers align their online presence with the expectations of affluent clients. So she is with RDW Design Studio, and I want to welcome you back, Robyn.
Thank
Yay!
you. So great to be here, Michelle. Thanks for having me back.
I'm so excited. And the funny thing is, y'all, Robyn and I were just talking. So we did the podcast in 2022, and then it felt like I'd known her forever. We met like in person, like, or as the kids say, IRL in real life, at High Point this past April. So yeah, it
April and
was
October.
April and October. Yes, but
Yeah,
it just feels like I've known you for so long.
I know. It felt like seeing an old friend, even though
Yeah.
we'd never met in real life before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
which is
spent time.
super cool.
It is super cool. And I think that's the fun of today. We've got all this technology and whatnot, which is fantastic, but sometimes it just feels like I just want to slow down
Mhm.
and like know people in real life. But this
Yeah.
this definitely helps expedite that.
Yeah. And it's so
So,
nice to be able to give someone who you've been like doing Zooms with or,
mhm,
communicating on Facebook group, give them a hug
mhm.
in
Yeah,
person,
I know. Here in the
Yeah.
South, we say, I'm so excited to hug your neck.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
Oh, well then let's talk about what you've been doing since 2022. Your
Mhm.
expertise is websites,
Yes. Yes.
specifically for interior designers.
Yes, exactly. So I niched down very early on in my business to
Uh-huh.
working specifically with interior designers. And
Why?
it comes from something you're going to hate hearing me say and your listeners are going to hate, but I love watching HGTV.
Hmm.
It's how I relax in the evening. And I was thinking about, okay, who do I want to niche down and work with? Like, what brings me joy? And I love watching
Yeah.
that. And, you know, I've never been a interior designer myself. I think it would be
Mhm.
super cool, but I don't have that kind of skill set or anything. And I'm like, I think it would be really cool to work with these people. You have beautiful imagery for me to work with on the website. That's very different than if you're working with like a financial advisor
Oh,
or a
goodness.
lawyer. So, it really came from my love of relaxing and watching HGTV. And I now understand your industry and how those shows are completely unrealistic, but they're still fun to watch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun.
That's
So
where it
you,
comes from.
how long have you been doing this?
So, I'm entering my eighth year.
Wow,
Yeah. Yeah. If
that
you
is
can believe
awesome.
it.
That is
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's been fun to sit back and kind of watch as you've grown.
Yeah.
'Cause I think
Yeah.
we first got plugged in my Facebook group.
We did.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Interior Designer
Exactly.
Business Launchpad. Yeah.
Yeah. And over the years, I've really, and this is something that I advise all of my clients of, is figuring out what your unique differentiator is,
Hmm.
right? That's so important. What makes you unique? Why should someone hire you over everyone else who's doing the same exact thing?
Yep.
And over the years, I have finally figured out what mine actually is. And because of that, I am now leaning into working with interior designers who are really trying to attract a more premium client or affluent client. And
Yeah.
it comes from my first job. So I have a master's in art history. I worked in one of the top art galleries of the world for 9 years in their New York office. And it wasn't something I ever shared about my story. And then
Yeah.
I started to think about it and I'm like, well, you don't get more luxury than people who are spending $20 million dollars on one painting for their wall in their
Holy
living
crap.
room, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And this is who I
Wow.
worked with for almost 10 years. So I'm like, I understand these people. This makes me unique. I don't know any other website designer who has that background. So,
Absolutely. To be able to target
yeah,
somebody so
yeah,
specifically.
yeah. Exactly. So I share this because it took me many years to
Hmm.
figure this out. It's a hard thing. It's something that's like so innately part of us that we don't
Uh-huh.
see that it's special.
It's funny that you say that because in the my signature program, the Interior Design Business Bakery, which is kind of sunsetting, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
One of the first exercises we go through is who are you and what makes you a badass?
Hmm.
Because you have to be able to say, this is who I am, and this is what I bring to the table, and this is how it benefits you to our clients. But it is an exercise to get to that point because, like you just said, we're so close to it, it's hard to see the forest through the trees.
Yes. And something that's
But
just
you were
where we
very,
don't see there's any relation whatsoever, right? Between art gallery and website design. Like, what could it possibly be? But it's there. And when I say it now, it's so obvious,
right?
right? And it
Yeah.
was almost something I hid in the beginning because I was like, well, there's no correlation. Like, who would care, you know?
No,
Um,
that's exactly what I did, Robin,
mm,
is when I got into interior design, I didn't talk about business.
mm,
And I felt like somewhat insecure because I don't have a classical training for interior design. So then I was like, oh, but hold on, my business acumen is my superpower, just like so we have that very parallel. So like, duh.
yeah. And everyone has it, right?
Yes,
And it might
it
not
does.
be a previous job. It could just be something that happened in your personal life that you've
Hmm.
experienced, but there's always something. It's just figuring out what it is.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
how it benefits our clients.
Yes, because that's
100%.
it. It's spinning it in terms of how it helps and benefits them, not just in terms of sharing your resume.
Well, then let's talk about that
Mm.
because what makes luxury interior design clients like what is it different? Like so
Mm.
compared to when you were let's just say, yeah, what makes the luxury side
Yeah.
different?
Yeah. So many things. But I would say if I had to just call out one thing,
Hmm.
I think they need to feel safe more than the mass market does. And
Hmm.
what I mean by that is they have so many choices, right?
Right.
Money's not the issue with them. So because of that, they can choose from any designer. But let's also
Hmm.
think about this. They can also choose to spend their money not on an interior designer, but on a private jet or on a yacht. So what is the priority for them in terms of where they're
Hmm.
spending their money? You're not necessarily competing with other designers, you're competing with other places where their investment can go. But because they need to feel safe, trust becomes very, very important. And getting that feeling of safety and trust across
Hmm.
on your website is critical. I think that that can often be the differentiator.
So how do you do that? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, let's dig in.
yeah.
Because I'm
So,
going back to my own website and I'm thinking, oh shoot, here we go.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to make
yeah,
some changes soon.
yeah. So I think that a myth that a lot of people have is that they spend their money effortlessly, but they actually almost have more risk when they're spending their money because
Hmm.
think about the fact that they might have employees who they're responsible for, staff in their home who they're responsible for. So their investment carries more risk with it. Um,
Right.
so when they're making these decisions, they need to feel understood,
Hmm.
right? Safe, confident in their decision, and confident in the person guiding them. And I would say that that is probably the number one thing that you have to get across on your website, that they can feel confident that you can take this investment that they're making in you,
Hmm.
right? And guide them through this complexity that is interior design
Oh
or
my gosh, yeah.
renovation or
One
custom home
room or
building.
one full home, it's a lot.
Yes, exactly. So this comes through establishing your credibility.
Mm-hmm.
right? Establishing that you have a seamless process, that you've done this before, that you know what you're doing,
It's
right?
not just rainbows and fairy dust and poof, your house is pretty.
Exactly, exactly. Because they're inviting you into their home,
Mm-hmm.
right? That comes with risk. They're committing to a long process, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
making choices that can be irreversible sometimes,
Right.
right? They're investing significant resources and they want the outcome to match their vision. So they don't want to make the wrong decision. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't want stress, right? You need to take that off your plate. Everything needs to be with ease.
Robin, I really want to hit that
Mm,
hard because I think so many designers think it comes down to money,
no,
but it's
not at this level.
right. But not at this level, but also like if they can afford to hire an interior designer,
Mhm,
money, yes, it's something. I mean, this isn't just like charity or anything,
mhm.
but it's taking the stress away. It's saving them the time. Like I think
Yeah,
that that is such a key component that we oftentimes forget about. And then
yes,
you're right, when you do get to that next level of affluency. Is that a
yes.
word? Affluence,
If
affluency,
it's not, I
affluence.
love it. Let's use it.
It is today.
Yes.
When you get to that next level of affluence, it's yeah, it's the money is
Yeah.
secondary.
Yeah. But yes,
Hmm.
everyone, interior design is a luxury industry,
Right.
right? So whether you're dealing with the luxury market or the
The
budget
super
conscious,
luxury.
it's still discretionary income for that person, whether it's a smaller number
Hmm.
dollar amount or a larger dollar amount. So interior design is a luxury service, irregardless of the income bracket that you're
Right.
working with. So, yes, I would say in that instance, ease and simplicity is important to everyone and taking stress off their plate, right? Like I can pick my own paint color and my own sofa, but I'm going to be stressed about whether I'm making the right decision or not because I don't have your expertise,
Hmm.
right? I don't
Yeah.
have your resources, your contacts, your years of experience. So you want to share all of that and you want to illustrate it in ways you're not just, don't just say it. You want to say it in a way that shares the story, if that makes sense. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so like you don't want to say, I'm a luxury interior designer. That has no meaning.
Hmm.
Right. And I have an example of what you can say, and I'm just looking for it here. But if you could say, instead of saying, I love helping clients create beautiful spaces, like that's something every interior designer could say. And it sort of has no meaning, really.
Right.
But if you were to say, we manage every detail from concept through installation, coordinating with architects, builders, and trades so our clients can enjoy the process as much as the finished home. That tells me something, right?
Yeah, and I think to your point, when we simplify it to the point, it's like I love creating beautiful spaces.
Hmm.
That almost translates to the rainbows and fairy dust.
Yes.
Like we have to educate our clients
Hmm.
as to how much detail really falls in our lap
Yes. And you
as
want to
we
make
take this
sure
on.
that you're getting across that you're taking all of that
Hmm.
off of their plate.
Great,
Yep.
great point.
Yep. Yeah.
It's yeah, and it's such a simple tweak.
Yes.
But
Very
that also
simple.
goes back to like where we're so close, it's hard to see the forest through the trees.
Yes.
Because this is just
Yes.
what we do,
Exactly.
but we
Exactly.
have to explain it.
Yes, we have to explain it. And we have to explain it in a way to this market that, again, goes back to building that trust and making them feel safe.
Hmm. Right. I
Yep.
my sales process that I use for ML Interiors Group and that I teach to my client private coaching clients is very much along that line of education. And I
Hmm.
think one of the reasons why it is so effective is because once if I can get them to call me based on the website,
Yeah.
then it is just that reiteration of like this is what we
Yeah.
do and this is how it benefits you and this yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I've gone, and it's been a while since I've done my website, probably since, yeah, it's been a while.
Hmm.
But thinking about it, I don't know if it goes back and talks enough about the stress that we take from our clients and how we
Hmm.
navigate these. I always say I'm the Sherpa. Like
Yes.
I am the Sherpa leading my clients up the Mount Everest of interior design.
And I so love that you said that
Mhm.
because you are the guide.
Yes.
Yes, you are leading the process. You are
Mhm.
leading the client through this. That's why they're hiring you for your expertise and your guidance. So that's something else to think about on your website. You might want to share that you work collaboratively. That might
Mhm.
be something that's important to your business, but you want to be careful how you're using that word because you're guiding it. You
Yeah.
don't, right? So you really need to be careful in terms of how you're getting across that you're leading this. Like you're taking the work off their plate and sometimes
Yeah, we're not going
collaborate.
shopping together, babe.
Right, exactly, exactly. And you're the one who's, taking what you've learned from them and creating the vision,
Right.
right? So you have to be really careful how you phrase things like that on your website so they understand you're the Sherpa.
Well, so let's talk about, let's say that I'm not getting high-end clients.
Mhm.
Is there like a guideline of why, like
Mhm.
reasons that we're not getting them
Yeah.
to
Well,
come
I
from
would
our
say
website?
I have 5 reasons that you might not be
Oh,
getting
perfect.
uh,
Let's dig into
affluent
them.
clients, from your website. And I'll list them out and then we can go into them in a little bit of depth. But I would say the first one is something that I've coined, which is perception misalignment. So
Hmm.
your brand and your website are creating perception misalignment. That's number
Hmm.
one.
Okay.
Number two, we kind of talked about a little bit, but your website isn't building enough trust or reducing risk.
Hmm.
Number three is your message is explaining what you do instead of shaping perception.
Oh.
Number four, you're trying to say everything, show everything, and appeal to everyone. I see you
I've
smiling.
been
Yep.
guilty of that in the day. Yep.
Yep. And number five is your website doesn't look or feel like an elevated experience.
Nice. All
Yep.
right.
And you'll
So,
notice that I put the design part of it last,
yeah.
because
Is that intentional?
some of the other things are actually more important.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if we start with the first one, which is perception misalignment, um, what I mean by that is the real reason that affluent clients aren't hiring you is not your price, your portfolio, your quality, or your visibility. It's because what you believe your brand and your website are communicating
Hmm.
doesn't match how premium clients are actually experiencing it. So there's a disconnect. So
Absolutely.
I think a lot of interior designers focus on how their brand looks and feels to them
Hmm.
instead of thinking about how it's perceived by the clientele they're trying to reach,
I
right?
think that is like you say that again for the people in the back.
Yeah. So a lot of interior designers focus on how their brand looks and feels to them instead of how it's being perceived by the clients they want to reach.
I love that
Yeah.
because we are not our clients.
No, I wouldn't hire me.
I wouldn't hire me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We probably each can't afford to hire each other, right? And that's
absolutely.
okay that we're not our ideal client. Our best friend is not our ideal client. Our mom is not our ideal client, right? So we have to um, this is why having such a clear understanding of who your ideal client is,
Hmm.
the demographics, and going deeper into the psychographics of who they
Yes.
are is so important because we need that clear understanding of what motivates them to buy something or to hire someone in order to understand what our brand and website needs to be for them, right? And
Right.
it's not pink because our favorite color is pink,
Oh my gosh. Right. Yes.
right?
I've had that conversation it was a little bit ago with a coaching client, and it was very feminine.
Yeah,
I was like, it's really pretty, but do you really think the husbands are going to want to sign off on this when their wife says they want to hire you?
right, right. Exactly,
Oh, how's it going to
exactly.
look like grandma?
Yeah, that's the thing. We have to think about that. And of course, we need to love our own brands and websites, of
Mhm.
course, but it's more important that they resonate with who we want to attract.
Only if you want to be in business.
Yeah,
Like you can do that if it's a hobby, make it
yeah,
all about you. But if you want to be in business, you're absolutely right. You have to talk to the person you're trying to attract.
exactly, exactly. It is so, so important. And the thing to realize is I don't believe that luxury clients are scrolling online trying to find an interior designer. Like, I don't think that they are Googling interior designer near me.
Hmm.
I don't think they're asking AI who to hire, and I don't think they're looking for you on Instagram. They're finding you on the golf course from trusted friends
Right.
who are referring you, right?
Hmm.
Then they're going to go to your Instagram and they're going to go to your website and they're going to make sure that that trusted referral, what was said about you, is actually what you are putting out there, right? So within like 30 seconds, they're going to decide, are you a $4,000 designer or a $400,000 designer? And
Right.
that's where your Instagram and your website come into play. They need to be aligned with that amazing referral.
Mm.
Otherwise, if there's a disconnect, they get a great referral and then they go and you've got this DIY website and an Instagram that hasn't been touched in 2 years.
Right.
Think what they're thinking in their head right now. Like, that's breeding
Yeah, it's
mistrust,
incongruent.
hesitancy, right?
Hmm.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, so
So
number one was what?
perception misalignment.
Okay.
Yep,
I'm taking notes.
yep,
Okay, number two.
yeah. And I'm just going to say the reason perception misalignment is so important is because at the luxury level, it's assumed you can do the job and that your designs are going to be amazing. That is the bare minimum,
Right.
right? So, the confidence that you put out there through your brand and your website,
Hmm.
that's what's going to set you apart. And the trust is going to set you apart as well. And that's number two, um, is making sure that your website is building trust and reducing risk.
And that's why you're talking about okay,
Yep,
building trust.
exactly, exactly. Um, I think at this level, the
Hmm.
transaction isn't the risk, the person is,
And
right?
the experience.
And the experience. They want to make sure they're hiring the right person, like we said, to lead them through. Like the
Mhm.
number one question they're asking is, do I feel comfortable being led by this person? Like they want to make sure everything's going to meet their expectations. They're not going to regret this later, right?
Yes, because your house might be beautiful, but if you're way over budget, the timeline
Mhm.
was jacked up, and it
Yep.
was just a terrible experience,
Right.
that yeah.
That matters a lot. Exactly. They don't want it to create more problems than it solves, right?
Yes,
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 they
yes,
want
yes.
everything to be frictionless. Like that goes
Hmm.
back to ease and taking the stress off. They want to feel understood. They want to feel safe, confident in the person who they've hired to guide them, to be their
Hmm.
Sherpa, like you said. Trust reduces any kind of spending anxiety they might have. And yes, they do have spending anxiety at this level, right?
Yeah, well,
They,
yeah, just because I mean they've worked hard to earn their money. They're not just
Mhm.
going to throw it away
Exactly,
just
exactly.
because they
So,
have a lot of it.
and trust starts before they actually reach out to you. So that's why your website is so important in getting that across. And they want to look for signals of authenticity,
Hmm.
certainty, sincerity, confidence, and understanding. So that's really what you want to hit on your website, right?
Which is like I would I'm having a hard time speaking today. Um, which is funny because we talk more about the beautiful fabrics and the textiles and how the room
Yes,
makes you feel, where we
right.
should be focusing on how we make them feel.
Exactly, exactly. Because think about this. Authenticity is going to answer, is this person real?
Right.
Certainty will answer, can this person guide me?
Hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Sincerity is going to answer, does this person genuinely care about me?
Right.
Right? Because these things matter to them. Confidence is going to answer, can I rely on this person?
Huh. Right.
Understanding is going to answer, does this person truly get me? Right? So they're they don't want to be persuaded. They want to know that they can trust you and that you understand them.
Hmm.
And your website's going to help them decide that.
To figure
So
that out.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. So like I said, there the basic is that you're going to execute something beautiful and you can
Mhm.
do what you say you can do. Then you need to take it to the next level.
And don't you think that in this age of AI, that is, I mean, it's the
The
human touch.
human, yep, human connection.
That's exactly what AI is not going to take away from us.
Exactly. And AI can generate beautiful images. So then we're going to get to the point, did AI do that stunning living room or did the designer actually do it? Right? So then speaking to these other components that are really important
Mhm.
becomes more paramount in the age of AI, right?
Absolutely, because AI doesn't have all the experience that we have to
Mm-mm.
understand that sofa is really pretty, but it sits like a rock.
Exactly.
Ah.
Exactly.
Or it's only
Yeah.
going to last for 3 years because it's kind of disposable.
Right. It doesn't know that at all. I mean, and then you also, that authenticity, is this person real? That is important for the client and also for AI. You having a very distinct and unique point of view
Right.
is really important nowadays because AI can't create it, right?
Mhm.
And it's what's going to set you apart from everyone else when it's deciding who to mention and cite.
Oh, there
That's
you go.
another topic, but
That yeah, that could be its own episode. But yeah, that makes
exactly,
sense. But if I'm going to
exactly,
hand over so much money, I want to know that I can trust you with it.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
awesome. Mm.
Yeah, so the trust and that safety. Number three is that your messaging is explaining what you do instead of shaping perception. And this is a really important one.
Uh-huh.
Many designers think that the words on their website exist to explain, and they do,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly, they're there to create a feeling and shape perception. Because when an affluent client visits your website, and really any client, they're not reading every single word, right? They're generally skimming through. And
Yes.
with the luxury client, they're looking for signals in the words on your website that are answering questions they're asking themselves about you. Like we've already touched on these. Do they understand me? Can I trust them? Can they lead me? Can they deliver? So they're looking for answers to these questions before
Mm-hmm.
they're going to reach out to you. And what I think is really interesting is they're not answering them based solely on the words you've chosen. They're answering them based on the conclusions they draw from your words. And that might be very different from what you've intended, right? Because you're coming at it very differently than they're coming at it. Um, and that's a really important distinction that you need to think about.
Well, and that's also the reason why you hire somebody to help you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yes.
you can like if I were to hire you to do my website, you're going to
Mhm.
translate what I'm
Yep.
trying to say into the language that they need to hear.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's really important. And again, you want to be very specific about what you're doing for them, and you want to sound different from everyone else. Um, right? And you want to use words. Think about it. There's certain words out there, timeless, luxury, bespoke, elevated, that are not bad words, but everyone is using them right now.
Well,
So
I
they've
can tell you
lost their distinction.
the word bespoke has had my head spinning for years because it is everywhere.
It is everywhere. It is not bespoke anymore.
It's been bespoken. It's done.
It has. So when every designer is using these words,
Hmm.
they stop helping potential clients distinguish one designer from another. So what you want to do is share, you want to communicate how you work, the experience that you create, the expertise that allows you to reach that conclusion rather than just saying, I design timeless interiors. How do you design them? Right? Share that. Don't
Hmm.
use the word timeless or bespoke. Use words that draw, lead the reader to draw that conclusion.
That, and also, if I can add on to that, is that also points back to you.
Mhm.
Because I
Yes.
think that at the end of the day, I mean, interior design, I'm sorry, I might piss off some listeners. Y'all, it's not rocket science, right? There's a lot of things that are very cumbersome. There's a lot of details that go into it. But to create a beautiful room, like there's a lot of us that can do that. But to create a beautiful room in the way that I do it versus the way another designer does it, I think it's important that we point that out. Like what she does isn't wrong, but somebody's going to resonate with me because they resonate with me. Somebody's going to resonate with her because they resonate with her. So I think bringing our personality out in our words, man, I just
So
think
important.
being
So important because that's
ourselves.
how you get across your who you are as a
Authenticity.
person,
Yeah.
and your personality and your unique point of view. It's all so important. Sharing your process, talking about premium resources, artisans, craftspeople to the
Mhm.
trade that you have access to, emphasizing exclusivity. These are all things that you can talk about on your website that might set you apart from someone else and also make you more appealing to a premium clientele,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
Because they are looking for exclusivity. You know, we might try to want to be all inclusive, but that's not really necessarily what they're looking for.
Yeah, because there's sometimes you just can't tell who you're working with because it is
Exactly.
exclusive and confidential.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Number four is you're trying to say everything, show everything, and appeal to everyone.
Yeah. Been there,
I
done
know
that.
you have a lot to say about
Shirt.
that.
Yeah, I learned that
Yeah.
one the hard way years ago.
Yeah. I mean, if you're saying that you're for everyone, you're basically creating noise and you're not establishing any authority.
Hmm.
And there isn't a luxury client on earth who's going to want to hire somebody who is looking to work with anyone and everyone, right?
Absolutely.
Because one of the most important things in luxury mindset is exclusivity. So we need to, you have to pick your lane and you really need to niche, right? And I know that can be scary,
Well, I think
but
so. Let's expand on that because
Mhm.
niching does not necessarily mean it doesn't have to be your style.
No,
Like, but so let's like you just need to be able to, it's like niching into your own identity. So it goes back to that,
yes,
who are you, what makes you a badass?
yep.
And then who's your ideal client, like knowing who your client is,
Hmm.
and then merging those, like building that
Finding where they
bridge.
intersect.
Yes.
Exactly. It isn't niching into a particular style. That could be a way to niche if you
A hundred
decide that's
percent.
the way you want to go.
Mhm.
I like what you said much better. You're niching, you're figuring out about you, and then you're niching into the ideal client that you want to work with and
Mhm.
understanding everything you possibly can about them so that you can speak directly to what they're looking for. They see
Exactly.
themselves mirrored back in your website and your messaging. And that's what they want, right? That
Because it
shows
feels
that you get
comfortable.
them, feels comfortable. Exactly.
Yeah. And that
Exactly.
goes back to what you said earlier that just because I'm branding my website for what makes me comfortable
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make my ideal client comfortable because I might be too
Exactly.
lowbrow.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And the other thing is, high net worth buyers are going to associate expertise with curation. So it's kind of like that less
Mm.
is more. So let's just think about your portfolio on. your website.
Right.
I feel that quality over quantity is so much more important. No one is going to hire you based on the number of projects in your portfolio. I would rather see three amazing projects rather
Mm,
than 12 meh projects. Do you know what I mean? I want to
absolutely.
see professional photography. If you're looking for a luxury client, you must have professional photography.
Yes.
You must. I mean, if you aren't willing to invest in photography, how can you expect them to invest in you? Right?
There you
Think about
go.
that.
Hmm.
And then also when you're looking at your portfolio, you you don't want it to appeal to everyone. You want it to appeal to who you're looking to work with, what
Hmm.
kind of projects you want more of. So let's just say, for example, you only want to do whole home remodels. That's what you need to have in your portfolio, not five different living room projects and two kitchen projects. That's telling me you do single rooms, right?
Yeah.
So you're sending a mixed message there. If your ideal client are single bachelors in their 20s, we
Hmm.
should not have nurseries and playrooms in your portfolio, right? So you want to think really strategically about that and
Right.
curate and edit. Less is
Well,
more.
less is more. And also, as you get more sophisticated in your designs, take
Mhm.
the old ones off.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's strategic and it sometimes it's counterintuitive because we want to show how much experience we have. Like, I've been doing this since 1902. Yeah, but you know what? When you decorated for the Flintstones, it doesn't look the same as the Jetsons.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you need to bring yourself into today.
Yes, it's that's so true. I mean, your website, I think of them as living, breathing creatures, and they need to be constantly updated. So
Yes.
as you get a new project photographed, you add that in and then look at the other projects. Something can potentially come out. They don't all have to stay always,
I
right?
literally just made a note, Robin, on my paper right here that I need to go check my portfolio because I
Yeah.
haven't been the one who's been managing it as much as some of my team.
Hmm.
Oh, I wonder. I
Yes,
wonder
you
I
need
think
to
we
do
probably
that
need to chop a
periodically.
couple off here soon. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're sending a subconscious message by what you put out there. And
Hmm.
it's not just your portfolio, it's also the words. So a concise and intentional message on your website is going to feel much more premium than paragraphs of explanation,
Right.
right? So you want to think about it. Mass market is here's everything we do, right?
Yeah,
Luxury,
I can get the Walmart,
yes, exactly. Luxury is here's exactly who we're for and why we're the obvious choice.
the boutique.
Yeah, and there's a big difference there, right?
Mhm.
Um, and you also don't want your website to feel like it's trying to convince.
Okay, I'm gonna laugh. It reminds me of a desperate dating profile.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Exactly it. We don't, the luxury client doesn't want to be persuaded. They're going to feel things and it will click into place.
Mhm.
And if you're convincing and persuading, that's not going to work with them.
Right.
Right? You just need to set everything else up properly so it just clicks into place.
Love that.
Yep.
Love it. Yeah,
Yep.
don't put desperation on your website, y'all.
Exactly. Exactly. No desperation. And then another thing to remember in this is you want to sell outcomes and transformations, not the services and every little thing that's included.
Hmm.
Because many people visiting your website don't know what procurement is.
Right.
That's an industry term, right?
Hmm.
Tell them, don't sell procurement and renderings. Help them understand what it means for me. How will it simplify it? How will you coordinate it? And how will you make the process feel effortless? That's
Hmm.
what they want, the transformation and the outcome.
Yeah, it's the concierge. Like you go to a
Exactly.
fancy hotel, you need the concierge that's going to set your dinner up and
Yep.
make you the reservations and all of that sort of jazz. You don't need to be calling around all the place.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah,
You're the Sherpa.
take the stress off. Yes,
Yeah.
tell me what to pack, Sherpa.
Yes. Yes. And then the last one is that your website doesn't look or feel like an elevated experience. And there's so much that goes into this. Here's where we can think about your brand visuals and making sure that you are choosing the right color palette, the
Mm-hmm.
right typography, fonts, so that everything about your brand feels premium,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, your logo should feel premium. The way everything is laid out on the pages of your website needs to feel a certain way. So there
Right.
needs to be a hierarchy of fonts, right?
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be white space, which doesn't have to be white, but it is the space between, let's say, objects, whether it be images or headings or paragraph text, that just gives it um, an air of sophistication and allows the visitor space to breathe and for their eyes to rest.
Well, I think that the audience can relate that to the spaces that we design
Yes.
has a similar approach as the websites that you design,
It's
which is
very true.
why we hire the experts to do it, because just because we can make a pretty room doesn't mean that we understand, like you said, the hierarchy of fonts.
hmm
Your what is it? Your title, your
Yeah, your
subtitle,
headings, your
photos.
subheadings, your
Yeah.
paragraph text, your call to action, they should all be different sizes. There are
And consistent through the site.
consistent throughout the entire website. Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. Um, your main navigation menu at the top. Now we're getting into user experience a little bit, but we don't ever want, again, everything needs to be easy. Everything needs to be frictionless. If there's too much up there, I'm going to get overwhelmed and confused. I'm going to leave. A
Yeah.
confused
So
buyer doesn't buy,
so
right?
think about that as your bookshelves. You
hmm
zhuzh them enough, but then
Yep.
also oftentimes you're just taking shit off because it's
Yep.
looking cluttered.
Yep. I think this is exactly the same as interior design. Do
Yeah.
something and then look at it and what can you remove?
Hmm. Was it Coco Chanel that said that you get dressed and then you take off one?
Yes, take off one accessory. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
And it's
you don't take off
absolutely
one
true.
piece of clothing, y'all. You take off one accessory.
An accessory.
I gotta finish my
Exactly.
sentence there.
Exactly. Exactly. But truly, in a website, we want the visitor to really just effortlessly glide through it.
Mhm.
And every element needs to work seamlessly together, right? Elements between sections on the same page, elements from page to page. There's really a lot of thought that needs to go into this. And it's something that a DIY website just does not usually ever achieve,
Hmm.
nor should it. It's the same way if I was to put together my own living room, it's not going to feel the same as if I had it professionally designed. It
Well,
just
heck,
isn't.
even my living room doesn't feel as if I had it professionally because
Mhm.
I've accumulated, I've moved. I didn't have
Yeah,
it done all at once. And heck,
right.
probably my website right now, Robin, we should potentially have a conversation
Yeah.
because it's been something that I had it done. I think it was in 22 because
hmm
when we were talking, I was probably thinking, "Oh man, I hope I went with the right person," because but anyway, that's a whole different story. But I've added to it and I've edited it and I've like
hmm
rearranged a couple things on my own.
Yep.
So I just undid what the designer did.
Right.
So
That can happen.
how often do you suggest, you have fresh eyes and potentially redo your website and heck,
Yeah.
rebrand at the same time?
Yeah. So I don't think that there's any hard and fast answer. I'm never going to say it should be every 3 years, every 7 years. I
Right.
think a lot of it depends on what's going on in your business, right? Have
Mhm.
you changed who your ideal client is since you last did your website? Have
Right.
you changed any of your services? Have you changed your brand, your visual brand? Have you changed your positioning or your messaging? Because when any of that changes, then it's really time to look at it and do a big overhaul,
It's like
right?
that domino effect.
Exactly, exactly. Because as soon as your ideal client changes, that is going to make me question your messaging, your positioning, and your brand visuals
Mhm.
immediately. right?
Yep.
Forget about the fact that you might have new team members who need to be added. You might have new projects that need to be added. You might have new client testimonials that need to be added. Like those should be going on almost all the time, right?
Right.
This is more like those big overhauls. And with the ideal client changing or services changing, that's where it's more of a bigger thing. So if you're someone who's keeping everything pretty much the same, you know, then your website might be perfectly fine as long as it was designed timelessly. So it doesn't look like it's from, 2001, right?
Yeah. Oh man, you should have seen my first website because I was a DIYer. There
Yep.
is a time and a place for DIY when you're just starting your business if you don't have money to
Absolutely.
invest. But
Yes,
that is the key is like you start making money and then you start investing and then you're going to start making and it's an investment, it's not an expense. It,
exactly.
it will make you money.
It will. It will. You should see a return on that pretty soon, I would imagine. I mean, I would imagine one new client is going to more than pay for your new website and brand,
That's the plan. And if
you know.
not, call me for coaching.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And just to bring up one thing that you sort of just touched on there, it is really okay to DIY your website in the very beginning. I actually don't recommend investing in a custom brand and website in the very beginning because those first like 2 years or so, everything is going to change. You're going to start out doing one thing and then you're going to realize, I don't want to do that service. I want to do this. You're going to start out thinking this is your ideal client and it's all going to change.
Great.
So there's a time and place for hiring a professional, and it's
Mhm.
not necessarily always at the beginning.
I love that. That's really
Yeah,
great advice.
yeah.
So, Robin, for the people who are listening and
Mhm.
thinking, oh, I probably need to elevate or I need to reevaluate, and I'm convinced that I don't need to do it myself, how can people get in touch with you
Yeah.
for consideration?
Yeah, sure. So the best place is my website, which is rdwdesignstudio.com.
Hmm.
And I am most active social media wise on Instagram, and that is RDW Design Studio. Um, and the other thing I would love to offer your listeners, Michelle, if I can,
Ooh, yeah.
is I have something called a luxury client website appraisal, and I will share the link so that you can put it in the show notes for people. But if you share your website with me,
Hmm.
I will create a personalized video and share 2 shifts with you that will help you align your brand and website with a more premium client.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so basically, I'll put the link in the web in the show notes.
Yeah. And if they click on that, there's a little form to fill out,
Uh,
name, website, email, that sort of thing. And in a couple of days, I'll have a little short video to send them. Yeah.
Free,
Free,
y'all.
complimentary, word
Complimentary.
choice.
That's much more. That's much more elevated,
Yes, yeah.
sophisticated. Yeah. Well, I had to close my jaw. That was too many syllables for an open mouth.
Yes.
That's fantastic, Robin. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're
I'm
welcome. I
really
hope
gonna
some
take
people will
that.
sign up for it and find
Thanks,
it a valuable resource.
Sam Skippy. That sounds
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, I've really enjoyed the conversation. It's so good to
Me
catch up with
too.
you again.
Thank you so much for having me back on. It was an absolute pleasure.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, we're gonna have to do it again before like a couple
Yeah.
hundred episodes have
I would
gone
love that.
by.
Love that.
Can't believe it's
Yes.
been that long.
I know. 2022, I went and checked. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe 4.5 years. I
And
think
we
it was
both
January.
look exactly the same.
Of course we do.
Yay.
Fabulous.
Well, thanks for being here, Robin. I really hope that I know that the listeners are really going to have some great takeaways. And I hope that they all give you a call. And y'all just remember that our goal as business owners is to build something worth spending all this time on.
Yes.
So,
I love that, Michelle. That's great.
thank you
That's
very
great.
much.
Yeah.
I kind of pulled that
Yeah.
one out of my
Yeah.
butt. All right, y'all, we're signing off before I embarrass myself. Have a great one.
Bye.
Okay.